Well, hey everybody, I hope you have had a great week. I can't believe it is already Friday. I hope you have been with me on the videos that we've been doing this week, looking at all of the things that at the end of the school year, parents start to panic about. And my desire for all of these lives that I'm doing in the month of May is that you would be encouraged and you would be calmed and you would see that you do not have to panic about not finishing your curriculum or having to finish on a certain date and all these different things that I know can be very stressful. And so today what we are going to talk about is those of you who are in states where you have to track a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of days for schooling, and you're looking at all of the stuff that you have not yet completed, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, we are so done. Like, my kids are so done. I am so done. I cannot believe that we still have to track for 25 more days, or we still are missing 50 more hours. I cannot even imagine having to school for another 20 some odd days or having to do another 50 some odd hours. We are just so done. How do we keep going when we are all totally burnt out? But for the state's requirements, we have to keep going. Okay, here's the thing. First of all, I want you to remember that if you're not yet on the mailing list, please go to goodschooling.net, scroll to the bottom, and put your email address in, because I want to be able to encourage you all through the rest of the school year, however long that is for you, through the summer, to prepare you for a better year next year. So get on there if you would like some encouragement. Obviously, you don't have to, but if you would like some encouragement in your inbox, I would love to be able to give that to you. So, okay, here's the thing. Not everybody is in this position, and I'm grateful that I live in a state where I don't have to worry about tracking hours and things like that, but I know there are a lot of states where you have to do that. And here's the thing that you need to remember, okay? Learning happens all the time. It does not always happen with curriculum. It does not always have to have books or lessons involved. And so when you're looking at what your state requires, for some of you, it's just days. You just have to say, yes, we homeschooled for this many days, okay? And for those of you who are black and white thinkers, which I tend to be, so I totally get that. You are rule followers, which I also tend to be, so I totally get that. You're thinking, okay, well, we need to officially do school in order to count this as a day towards our state's requirements. I would say no, that is not true. Here's the thing. If you live in a state that just wants you to say whether or not you did something educational that day, they don't require that in order to count the day as a school day that you do certain activities or you do use certain materials or anything like that. They just say, did your kids learn today? Did they do something educational today? Oh my goodness. It would be so easy for you to look at the rest of this month or however many days you still have left to track and think of one thing that you can do each day that would be something educational that you and your kids did together so that you could check off that day. And here's the thing. This is not about gaming the system. This is not about trying to trick the state, okay? Unfortunately, politicians know very little about how children learn. They typically, when they're making these rules, they're not actually thinking about how children learn at all or what learning actually is. They're concerned with, oh gosh, these kids aren't in the public schools, and so we need to make sure they're doing something. And their concept of learning, their concept of education is so far off the mark of what those concepts actually are. So when kids are home, okay, and they're on summer break, and they decide they want to do a lemonade stand, that is a huge learning experience. They are learning how to make change. They are learning how to run a business. They're learning about supply and demand. They're learning about profit versus costs. They're learning all sorts of stuff, right? And that's just from doing something that they decide they want to do for fun because they're like, I want to earn some money. I'm going to do a lemonade stand, okay? Or your family is going on vacation. Just being in the car and driving can be educational. You can play audiobooks. You can talk about the geography of the areas that you're driving through. You can talk about the topography, about the the geology of the area where you are. You can talk about the history of where you're driving through. You can go to the beach and you can learn about science from watching the waves, from looking at the animals, all of the things that you're finding in the water at the beach or at the lake or whatever, right? You guys, this is authentic learning. This is real life learning. This is not fake learning, okay? One might say that's more real learning than opening up a book and doing a worksheet page. And in a lot of instances, I would say that's 100% true. Real life learning, that's going to sink in. That is going to stick with your kids, that kind of learning, so much more than today we're going to learn about this concept that is completely separate from the rest of your life and has no relevance at all on how you live your life or what's going on around you, and then we're going to do a workbook page, okay? The state goes, oh, that's learning. It's not learning, you guys. That's a checklist. That is checking something off just so you can say you've done it. And we talked yesterday about how your child and your child's education are not checklists. Okay, so if you're in one of these states where you have to clock a certain number of days, okay, you have to mark a certain number of days, figure out how many days you need left, and how many days you have left, and then think of one thing that you can do, a book that you can watch, a video that you can watch, a game that you could play, somewhere you could go, and it doesn't have to take all day. For those of you who are in states where you just have to track attendance, typically that does not come with any kind of time requirement, right? You can spend 20 minutes at the park down on your tummies looking at the ants and talking about how they do what they do and Googling information about that to share with your kids. Why is that ant doing that? Why are they, look at the different colors. That's science. That is learning. That absolutely counts as a day of school. Now, those of you who are in states where the requirement's a little more strict because they actually want hours, and sometimes they will even specify that it has to be hours on core content. That's going to mean history, science, math, language, right? Like the main academic subjects. If you have to clock hours still, okay, here's another thing. Here's something that you could do. Figure out how many hours short are you? And then tell your kids, okay, we are also done with this curriculum. I know you don't want to finish it. I don't want to finish it either, and so we're not going to. Instead, what we are going to do is we are going to together bring them in with you, have them help you. We are going to decide together one thing that we can do every day for 1 hour or 30 minutes or however long you can do it, okay? We're going to come up with one thing that's educational that we can all do together so we can check this off our list for the state, okay? The state is the one that runs the checklist, right? Your child is not a checklist. Their education is not a checklist. However, the state is a checklist. And so you can tell your kids, okay, we got to play the state's game. So let's do it our way. Let's figure out what we want to learn. We'll close this curriculum. Let's set this aside. What do you guys want to learn about? Let's go to the library tomorrow. We're each going to get books, and then we will read those books together. Every day we'll pick a different topic. We'll read. Then the next day we'll go do this. We'll go do that. Come up with fun things you can do. You do not have to use curriculum to set those hours. 99 times out of 100, you're going to be able to come up with more organic, more hands-on, more relevant ways to teach those core classes, those core concepts, in a way that your kids are going to enjoy doing, that is going to kind of give this last bit of the year when everyone's so done with the curriculum, kind of infuse things with, oh, okay, like this is something new. This is interesting. This is different. This is like a fun way to end our school year. This is like the homeschool version of what they do in public school where they just start showing movies all the time, right? So that is a way that you can look at these requirements, things that you have to do to satisfy the state that does not understand how education actually works, and you can check their boxes by doing things that are going to be relevant to your kids and enjoyable for your family. So if this is something that has been stressing you out, my gosh, we still have so much time that we have to clock, so many days that we have to clock, you don't have to do that with your curriculum. If y'all are worn out and you're tired of that, absolutely shake it up and do something different. I hope this has been encouraging for those of you who are in this position, and I hope that I would love to hear what you guys do. Share with me what it is that you decide to do instead of the curriculum that everyone is bored with, how you're going to take care of those requirements if that's something that you have to do in your state. All right, have a great weekend, you guys. I will be back on Monday with another video talking about the stuff that is stressing you guys out at the end of the year and how you can help it to not stress you out so that you can finish your year with some peace and some calm and some enjoyment so that you are ready to go into an awesome vacation for summer and prepare yourself for next year. All right, take care, you guys. I will see you on Monday. Bye.